Hey everybody, welcome to episode 20 of What Not to Miss with Chris. My goal is to put out quick, relevant content that explains the why behind the what in order to positively impact the freight community. Now in episode 19, we talked about carrier displacement. Today we're going to look at truckload volumes, we're going to look at import volumes, and we're going to talk about rejections moving into the later into the summer months here. Now if we want to start off, let's look at the outbound tender volume index in blue to the inbound ocean TEU volume index in green. Now these two charts are really good to look at together because the inbound ocean TEU volume index is a good leading indicator as to what is going to transpire in the truckload market eventually, as roughly 75% of what is brought into the United States as far as imports is concerned ends up on a truck one way or the other. Now, a good place to start is last November, as we saw volumes incredibly high. I think that was a record for truckload volumes, and we saw imports declining. Now, at this time period, rejections were around 28%. Now, we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. Now, look at what's transpiring right now within the United States as far as bookings are concerned and volumes. Now, the volumes currently are approaching that record high number. Very high, very elevated, and really it has been for the entire year, especially towards the end of February. Same thing with imports. Imports are absolutely going gangbusters, and they have been for some time, especially since the beginning of April. It's insane what's going on right now. Now these bookings represent what may transpire or is expected to transpire for the next 7 days. So we're anticipating these volumes to remain strong. Now that's a much different story than what transpired back at the end of November, where that rejection rate, like I said, was around 28%. Now if we look at rejections, and like I mentioned, we were around 28% back in November. If we look at rejections, they have been falling since February. They've been a little bit of a roller coaster, but falling for the most part since back in February here. And we're currently sitting at a 23.9% as far as the rejection rate is concerned, or the amount of freight being rejected by contracted carriers. So I think this is interesting to look at because back here during this time period, you had volumes very high, but you had imports very low. Right now, we have volumes incredibly high, close to what was transpiring back in November, and you have imports incredibly high as well, probably getting ready to break records. Now, we have been, like I said, in a downward slope here with rejections over the last several months. Will this be enough to bump that rejection rate back up and keep it elevated for the remainder of summer? Possibly, and I think we have a pretty good chance given everything that we have seen with volumes and how they directly correlate to imports. Now this was a quick one today. I appreciate you guys checking out What Not to Miss, episode 20 here. For more related content, check us out at Bridge Logistics Inc. or reach out to me on LinkedIn. And until next time, I'm Chris Seeds, and thanks for joining me on another episode of What Not to Miss with Chris.